When you think of the term MAGA, you most likely think of Donald Trump. But there is a different group that is now using that same acronym that wants you to think of something else. Mothers Against Greg Abbott. The group is a collection of Democrats, moderate Republicans, and independents in Texas working together in the hopes of ousting the Texas governor come November. And just this week, the group released a new powerful ad hitting Abbott's anti-abortion policies.
A decision will need to be made on termination. I wish I could tell you what to do, but there is only one person who can make this choice.
How much time do I have?
And that person is Greg.
Greg?
Who the is Greg?
Yeah, let me just give him a call.
My Saturday night panel is back with me. We all know who that Greg that they're talking about is, Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Dean, your reaction to this ad from Mothers Against Greg Abbott?
This is great. Democrats, if you're watching, you got to do more of this. It was funny. It made a great point. It made the point that Republicans don't want to come between you and your doctor. Republicans want to control your decisions. And that's what this is about. You know, earlier in your show, and I did watch earlier, Eamon, because, again, I didn't win the lottery. If I did, I wouldn't have been watching it. But I watched it, and you had this segment on ads by Gavin Newsom and John Fetterman. Again, this is what Democrats need to do. And Gavin Newsom is framing this perfectly. It's about our freedom. And Republicans want to ban abortion. They want to ban books. They want to ban Black history. They want to ban transgender rights. And they're coming for banning birth control and marriage equality. They're coming for your freedom. And this ad made a great point. It made it funny. And look, folks, in 101 days, not only is our democracy on the ballot, your freedoms are on the ballot, literally. And this ad does a great job of making you laugh and making you think about it at the same time.
Betsy, this ad, as Dean was saying, reminiscent of both John Fetterman and Gavin Newsom ads in recent weeks that have been also highly effective. Why do you think we're not seeing more left-leaning politicians or groups leaning into these cases like these with this style of ad, taking the fight to the Republicans on their turf with their style of what they are doing to this country?
It's a good question, and I don't know that I have an answer at hand for that as to why this isn't a more common tack when it comes to Democratic politicians. It's important to remember that many of the Democratic politicians in the most vulnerable districts are in districts where even now, after the overturn of Roe v. Wade, the issue that voters still say is top of mind for them tends to be jobs, the economy, and inflation. Some Democrats, I would think, would be concerned that not presenting themselves as supporting Biden's agenda, Biden's efforts to strengthen the economy and working to lower gas prices and focus on those financial issues could potentially result in blowback. But what I can tell you is that on the right, Republicans have real concern that the reversal of Roe v. Wade was kind of, to use sort of pat language, was something of a wild card. They didn't know it was going to happen. Then it happened. And what looked like was guaranteed to be a wave election year for Republicans suddenly got a little dicier. Whenever Republicans are talking about anything other than jobs, the economy, inflation, and to a lesser extent, the border, they're nervous and they're not on their home territory. So for Democrats to lean into this issue in a way that's accessible to a wide audience is the sort of thing that creates real challenges for many Republican candidates.
Eugene, your thoughts on these ads and this particular group, how they are effective in their messaging?
Well, that ad is really direct and it's really funny. It commands your attention. And, a lot of Democrats haven't had the knack, for whatever reason, for that sort of political advertising, that sort of that very effective way to connect with voters. I would love to see more of that, and more groups around the country adopting this sort of method. You talk about Fetterman's ads, his trolling of Dr. Oz in Pennsylvania. You talk about Newsom's ads. I mean, so maybe finally, after years and years of complaining about Democratic messaging and how it's boring, and they bring a briefing book to a knife fight, maybe they're actually bringing knives to the knife fight now. That can mean some points in a close election. So more of it, please.
Yeah, and speaking of the politics of it, Betsy, we have about 30 seconds, but we're seeing record fundraising from Beto O'Rourke, Abbott's challenger. There's always talk of Texas turning blue, but it seems hard to imagine that someday is this year.
Yeah, and major Democratic donors historically have been pretty nervous about pouring money into Texas because they've long felt that Democratic operatives and activists there have been exaggerating or overstating the extent to which Democrats are making progress in that state. That said, there's no question that a significant number of people moving from blue states to Texas is a major source of optimism for Democratic donors. And the fact that money is going there is a big deal. Sometimes fundraising dollars are sort of self-fulfilling prophecies. Sometimes they're not. We'll have to wait and see. But the fact that the donor money is getting drawn to Texas is itself, no question, a sign of growing Democratic optimism. And it's something that concerns the GOP.